This is an oral history interview conducted for the Witness to War Serving a Nation project at the Nauset Regional High School on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. For the sake of this interview, please state your full name and community in which you now reside.
Malcolm N. Moody. I live in South Orleans, Massachusetts. It's 85 Namaquoit Road.
Where were you born?
New London, Connecticut.
Where did you grow up?
Middletown, Connecticut.
What high school did you go to?
Woodrow Wilson High School.
Were you interested in any sports in school?
No.
No. What were some hobbies you liked?
I like to shoot
Shoot?
with my rifle. And I used to deliver papers every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, about a mile and a half.
Did you have any family members who were serving in the military before you started?
No. I had them afterwards.
When did you join the military?
September the 22nd, 1942.
What branch of the military did you choose and why?
I went in the Army. I went in the United States Cavalry because I always thought that it was better to ride than walk.
What rank were you when you first started?
Private.
How many ranks are there?
Well, there's private first class, corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, tech sergeant, and first sergeant.
Does it take a really long time to move up the ranks?
It did in my outfit because they were all old timers.
Tell me about your boot camp experience. What was it like?
I took my basic training 3 months at Fort Riley, Kansas, the Cavalry Replacement Training Center. I drove an armored scout car.
What war did you serve in?
World War II.
Where and when were you first deployed?
I went to deploy, you mean to go overseas?
Yeah.
I went overseas on the 23rd of January, 1943. I went to New Caledonia, 21-day voyage.
Did you go by plane?
No, I went by boat.
What was it like when you first arrived?
My regiment had been on New Caledonia for 6 months before I got there. We were equipped with Australian horses. We were part of the island New Caledonia Defense Force. There was never any fighting on New Caledonia, but we were part of the Defense Force there because that was an important base.
Did you feel any pressure or stress?
No.
Were you ever wounded?
No. I had plenty of close calls, but I was never wounded.
What was the food like?
Terrible.
What did you eat?
I can tell you that. We had, all rations were canned, powdered, dried, reconstituted. Even the butter was like what they call tropical butter. It didn't melt. It was like axle grease. We had that on our pancakes. No refrigeration at the unit level. Imagine running your kitchen with no refrigerator. In combat, we had K rations. That was a small wax box had canned meat and eggs, hash, cheese, crackers, a small chocolate bar, soluble coffee, and four off-brand cigarettes. You know what an off-brand cigarette is? That's what we used to call Chelsea's and Old Golds. But they were not popular. Lucky Strikes in Chesterfield where people smoked. I didn't smoke at the time. We had a fruit bar too. All our water was always heavily chlorinated. So everything tasted of chlorine.
What was your favorite and least favorite food to eat there?
Favorite? I don't think I had a favorite.
Did you have a least favorite?
Yes. We had Australian mutton. It was terrible. Canned mutton.
What is mutton?
It's lamb.
Who were your closest friends throughout your service?
Well, I had many of them. I was in the same outfit for the same troop for 32 months. A troop is about 162 men at full strength, which we never were. It's a small unit. The regiment was half the size of an infantry regiment. It was a Texas National Guard regiment. They had been in service since 1940. Federal service. They were national, what they call federalized. And they had been in service they were together almost 4 years. The last of them before they left. But it was like a family. And Texans are proud people, you know. And I had a lot of friends there. They're all dead now, but they were good people and good soldiers. They had a pride that we don't have up here. Their favorite song march was "The Eyes of Texas Are Upon You." Have you ever heard that song?
No.
It's a march. It was very popular in those days.
Were there many casualties in your unit?
Yes, there were. During the war, my regiment had 224 killed.
124.
224. We were in combat for 434 days. We had 2 Congressional Medal of Honor. Two Congressional Medal of Honor winners. Both posthumous.
Do you know who they were?
Yes, I knew one of them very well. Lieutenant Boyce.
How did you and your platoon members entertain yourselves?
Well, that was good. I got it. We had movies.
Movies?
I think without movies, we would have gone insane.
How did you watch them?
They would show them on a sheet, and we'd sit out there, even in the rain, watch them.
Did you have a favorite movie that you watched?
Well, anything that they put up, we would watch, and we loved it. Because it was like going back home, or something like that.
What was your favorite part of serving?
Now wait, you missed on the recreation. just gambling. Every payday, it went on. Every payday we got paid once a month, except when we were in combat. That's what they did that was the lifeblood. Texans are addicted to gambling, and the dice and poker. The regimental payroll would always end up in the hands of a few really good card sharks. But gambling was the main recreation, you might say.
Did you listen to music?
Yes, we had a regimental band who were very good. They were made up of professional. They were professionals, and they could play the big band sound. In those days, that was very popular, and they were good, and the regiment liked them, and they played whenever they could, which was not often, but the band was an important morale factor.
What was your favorite part of serving?
My personal part of it, when I went on furlough to Sydney, Australia, for 2 weeks, September of '44.
What was your happiest moment of the war?
Well, when they told us the war was over, and that was the end of August '45. But my really happiest one was when I went back under the San Francisco Bridge, Golden Gate. The band struck up. We didn't know they had a band on ship. I guess it was improvised. They played San Francisco, Here We Come.
What was your least favorite part of serving?
Well, losing all our friends. We had, in my troop alone, which is only 162 men, 162 enlisted men and a few officers. But we lost 31 men killed in action in my troop. And I knew most of them. Most of them were young guys.
What was the hardest part for you?
Well, I had malaria a couple times. I was sick. A lot of times malaria is a bad thing, you know. They gave us Ativan. It's a pill you take and it makes your skin yellow. But it suppresses the symptoms of malaria. But you don't get rid of malaria. You still got it in your system until long after. I even had malaria after I got out of the service.
You did?
Yep. It wear off after a while, a couple of years. My family doctor had to report me to the Board of Health because I had malaria after I got out.
What do you recall about the day your service ended?
I was at Fort Devens, Massachusetts, and they handed me a paper. It said, honorable discharge, and I said, thank you very much.
What did you do in the days and weeks afterwards?
I was at home.
Did you join a veterans organization?
Yes, I was in American Legion.
Did you go on to do a career after the war?
Well, I was in the Connecticut National Guard after the war, and I actually did a tour of duty during the Korean War, and I went to Germany. But when I came home from there, I went to work for Pratt & Whitney Aircraft. I worked there 25 years.
Did you attend any reunions?
Many, at least 6. I went to Dallas.
What were they like?
They were terrific. We drank a lot of beer.
How did your service and experiences affect your life?
Well, you never forget these things. You never forget this. It's a long time, you know. 32 months overseas. The average guy and the average serviceman in the United States served only 16 months. I served twice that amount. It says right here. 73% served overseas, average of 16.2 months abroad. Well, I served twice that amount.
What was your transportation like during the war?
We walked. Except when we had the horses, we rode, but they dismounted us because they knew they couldn't be used in the jungle.
Did they teach you how to ride a horse?
Sure. I knew how to ride one before, but the Army has their own way of riding. They were Australian horses, you know. Brought from Australia over to New Caledonia, which is an island about 1,000 miles northeast of Australia. But it's a semi-tropical island. It's not a jungle. But there was never any fighting there.
Were you ever in any active fighting?
Yes, I was in every one of those campaigns.
What was it like?
It was not very nice.
Did you have to shoot your gun?
Yes, we had to, of course.
What is your clearest memory from the war?
My friendship with people.
Did you have any very close friends that you stayed in contact with after the war?
Yes, I did. In fact, I just met his son just this last summer, who I'd never met before. Because he was in college when I kept in touch with him throughout the years. I even met him in Germany because he had re-enlisted.
Did you ever re-enlist?
I didn't re-enlist in the United States Army. I was in the National Guard after the war. But we were federalized during the Korean War. That means that our division was sent to Europe, which was a good thing during the Korean War to go to Germany. Your son, you see the difference?
Housekeeping, please call reception. Housekeeping, reception, please.
Was it hard to separate from the military service?
No, I had enough of it by that time. I was married, I had a child. My child was born while I was in Germany.
Really?
My wife had to take care of her all by herself.
Farley to southwest, Farley to southwest.
Was it hard to adjust after you came home?
Not really.
What was the biggest surprise when you got home?
I don't think I had any real surprises. My youngest brother was growing up, And I had an older brother who was in the Navy, and then I had a brother younger than I was. He was in the Navy, and my young baby brother, he became a lieutenant colonel in the United States Marines. He served 20-odd years.
What was your primary mission while you were overseas?
Either in combat or training for combat.
What did you do while in combat?
I was a rifleman. At one time I had a submachine gun.
Were you trained on how to use those weapons?
Yes.
Was it hard to learn?
No. I had done a lot of shooting when I was a younger boy.
Where did you stay while you were overseas?
I got a map. Show you where. You
You hold it
Okay.
here.
You can keep that and show that. I'm going to. Josh says you're going to keep. You can show this thing around and then give it back to me.
Thank you.
That shows you the islands we were on right there.
That's very cool.
And then of course there's the Philippine Islands, Leyte and Luzon. And we went to Japan. Within the I witnessed the surrender of Japan, and I was on board the APA Clearfield. And our division, we were attached to the 1st Cavalry Division then, and we witnessed the surrender on the Missouri. There were not many troops, only one division saw that in the whole war. We were right there, we were 1,000 yards from the Missouri. We couldn't see what was going on except that the sailors were wearing their whites, which they didn't do during the war.
Did you stay in tents?
Tents most of the time.
Did you get your own tent, or did you have to share it with multiple other people?
No, they squad tents.
So they were very large.
Well, they had different types. Here's a tent in the background here. Shows you how they are.
That's very cool.
I'm going to let you take these.
Okay.
I was 20 years old when they took that picture. That's the end of the war. We landed in Japan with the occupation, This is a picture of our outfit landing.
Whoa.
It's in a place called Tateyama. It's on the Chiba Peninsula. You see that guy right there?
Mhm.
That's me.
That's cool.
That's my first sergeant right there. And there's my friend, his name is Broussard from Louisiana. You see these Japs?
Mhm.
They're photographers. I remember when they took that picture, I said, I'm going to get that.
So you got these photos from them?
No, I got it from the Signal Corps, United States Signal Corps. Yes, I sent away for it.
What are these boats called?
Those are landing LCVP, Landing Craft Vehicle Personnel. They carried them on all troop transports. They land the troops.
How many troops could they fit?
About a platoon in each one.
A whole platoon?
Yeah, about 40 men or maybe a little more. They could put one truck in there if they had to. Here's a picture on New Britain Island. We fought there. These are Marine tanks. This was in a coconut plantation.
That's cool.
You can take these pictures, and he says they're going to make duplicates and give these back to me. Let's see what you got. Now, both of these pictures were taken at the end of the war, in August of '45. I've been overseas about 31 months at that time. We were only a month in Japan. We were part of the occupation force, you know. When Josh sees that, he's gonna laugh his head off. One thing I wanted to say more about my outfit. When they were brought into federal service, there were several brother combinations in our troop. Cousins, guys that went to high school with, people they had worked with in some department store. They were friends. And that's what they call unit cohesion. They were a great bunch. The brother we had several brother combinations, and of course as time went by, someone would drop out or be sent someone, go home on rotation. We had rotation, but it was a very slow process. With the first quota we got was 1 man per troop, and then eventually it worked up maybe 5, 6, 7. So the old timers finally got to go home. But even as late as May '45 on Luzon, as late as that, we still have 5 or 6 of the old timers still with the troop. And they were like, the troop was built around these men. Okay, you stop. You through now?
Oh, not yet. What did you wear while you were abroad?
Mostly denims. They're green overalls, like. Not very stylish.
Did you get multiple outfits, or you just provided one?
You'd have like one khaki and one denim.
What is the nicest thing someone has done for you because you are a veteran?
I really, I can't think of too much. What would I expect of them anyhow? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of veterans, I don't expect anything. There's one thing I would like to emphasize though, in our rations. We only, I can recall 3 times during the war we got a issue of beer, 1 can. And the Navy and the Marines got their beer all the time, but the Army did that always bothered me. We should have had that. Like, for example, on VJ Day, they put out the word, Japan has surrendered. You won't fire your rifles in the troop area. The troop commander may, and they issue 1 can of beer per man. big deal.
Did you feel that you changed a lot from before and after the war?
I probably got more obnoxious. I want to show you. This is my old outfit's insignia right there. Raring to go.
Was that your motto?
Yes, that's the regimental motto. We had, although we were a cavalry unit, they gave us, because we were dismounted, they gave us the combat infantry badge, finally. We had 4 campaigns. Can you count those stars?
On this one?
Yep.
4.
You see that little arrowhead?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call an assault arrowhead. That's what we got for landing, an assault landing on New Britain.
Wow.
And this is the Philippine Liberation Ribbon, and the Philippine government gave us credit for Leyte and Luzon. See? This ribbon, the yellow one, is the Asiatic Pacific ribbon. That's all. Everybody that served in the Pacific, yes, they got that. And it's a good conduct medal. I don't know how I ever got that. This is a victory medal. This is the occupation medal. These ribbons are smaller than the usual ones because they're miniaturized.
Mm-hmm.
But this combat infantry badge cost, we got $10 a month for that extra.
You get paid extra for your badges?
Yeah, for that one. For that one only.
On that one?
Yep. This was 6th Army. That's what we were in during the war. Most of the war. It was the only army. It was, you see the stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
The 6th Army. General Kruger, Walter Kruger, was commanded during the entire war. But I thought I'd just show you what those little stars stand for. Each one of them stands for a campaign. Now, you should know what those campaign numbers are, names are. They had names, you know.
Okay.
You want to write these down or just?
Can I take a picture?
Sure. That's the 4 campaigns.
Can you read to me
Sure.
what they are?
New Guinea, the Bismarck Archipelago, Leyte, that's in the Philippines, and Luzon, that's in the Philippines. And the little arrowhead is for assault landing.
Is there anything else you would like to add to the interview?
No, that's very good. You didn't miss too much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.